The stars had seen many things. They had watched empires rise and fall. They had seen countless species crawl out of their home worlds and reach for the darkness between worlds. But the stars had never seen anything like what was about to happen. Commander stood on the bridge of the HSS Revenge. He was a tall man with short black hair and calm eyes. His uniform was simple and dark. He looked at the large screen in front of him and saw the alien border fleet waiting for them. "Sir, we are getting a message from the alien ships," said Lieutenant. She was young but very good at her job. Her fingers moved fast over her console. Nodded, put it on screen. The face that appeared was not human. It had 6 eyes arranged in a circle around its head. Its skin was blue and covered in small scales. This was one of the oldest species in the Galactic Council. They had ruled space for 10,000 years. They looked at humans the way humans might look at insects. "Human vessel," they said. Its voice was cold and full of pride. "You have entered Council space without permission. Turn back now or face destruction. This is your only warning." Did not move. He did not blink. He simply looked at the alien for a long moment. "I am commander of the human space force," he said. His voice was calm and quiet. "We come in peace. We wish to meet with the Galactic Council. We wish to join the community of intelligent species." They laughed. It was an ugly sound like rocks grinding together. "Join us, you. Your species just learned to travel between stars. You are children playing with toys you do not understand. The Council has no interest in primitives. Now leave before we teach you why the galaxy fears us." Looked at Lieutenant, his weapons officer. Was a quiet man who rarely spoke, but when he did speak, people listened. "How many ships do they have?" asked. 47 warships, sir," answered. "All heavy class. They have surrounded us on all sides." The crew was silent. 47 ships against one. The numbers were not good, but nobody on the bridge looked scared. They had trained for this. They had prepared for this moment for 20 years. "Sir," said, "the alien commander is laughing at us. He says we have 10 seconds to run away." Smiled. It was a small smile, but it was there. "Send him a message," said. "Tell him we do not run. Tell him we came here to talk. But if he wants to fight, we will fight. And tell him one more thing." "What is that, sir?" "Tell him he should have read our history books." The commander received the message. He laughed again and gave the order to fire. 47 ships opened fire at the same moment. Thousands of energy beams flew toward the human ship. But the human ship was not there anymore. The HSS Revenge moved faster than anything they had ever seen. It slipped between the energy beams like water flowing around rocks. The alien gunners could not believe their eyes. How could something so big move so fast? "Return fire," said quietly. Lieutenant pressed a button. The weapons on the HSS Revenge were different from anything in the galaxy. While other species had focused on energy weapons, humans had gone a different way. They had improved their kinetic weapons. Simple metal slugs, but moving at speeds that made them more powerful than any laser. The first ship exploded, then the second, then the third. Watched without emotion as his ship cut through the enemy fleet. They tried to run, but the Revenge was faster. They tried to fight back, but their weapons could not hit the human ship. They tried to call for help, but the Revenge had already blocked their communications. In 11 minutes, it was over. 47 warships, the pride of the Council fleet, were now nothing but burning metal and floating bodies. The HSS Revenge had not received a single hit. Lieutenant, the communications officer, looked up from her console. Her face was pale. "Sir, we are receiving emergency signals from escape pods. Some of them survived." Nodded, "Pick them up, all of them. Give them food and medical care." Some of his crew looked surprised. They had just destroyed an entire fleet. Why save the survivors? Understood their confusion. He turned to face them. "We are not monsters," he said. We are human. We came here for peace. They attacked us and we defended ourselves. But we do not kill those who cannot fight back. We are better than that. We must always be better than that." The crew nodded. They understood. This was what made them different from the Council species. This was what made them human. As the Revenge collected the escape pods, looked at the stars, somewhere out there was the Galactic Council. They would soon learn what had happened here. They would learn that their mighty fleet had been destroyed by a single human ship. Hoped they would choose peace. He hoped they would listen to reason. He hoped they would welcome humanity into the galactic community. But deep in his heart, he knew that would not happen. The Council was too proud. They had ruled for too long. They would see this battle as an insult, not a warning. "Set course for the Council capital," ordered. "Maximum speed." "Sir," Lieutenant asked, "what do we do when we get there?" Was quiet for a moment. He thought about Earth. He thought about his family. He thought about all the humans who were counting on him to bring peace. "We try to talk," he said finally. "We try to make them understand that we want to be friends, not enemies. We show them that humans are worth knowing." And if they refuse to listen? Did not answer. He did not need to. Everyone on the bridge knew what would happen if the Council refused to listen. The galaxy would burn. The HSS Revenge jumped into hyperspace, leaving behind the wreckage of the fleet. The stars continued to watch as they always did, but now they watched with something new. They watched with fear, because something new had come to the galaxy, something the old empires had never seen before, something that would change everything. Humanity had arrived. The Council chamber was the largest room in the galaxy. It was built 10,000 years ago by the first species to reach the stars. The ceiling was so high that clouds formed inside. The walls were covered in gold and precious stones from 100 different worlds. Millions of beings had stood in this room over the centuries. Kings and queens, warriors and scientists, heroes and villains. They had all come here to speak to the Galactic Council. Now it was humanity's turn. Ambassador walked into the chamber with her head held high. She was not tall, but she moved with confidence. Her black hair was tied back neatly. Her eyes were dark and intelligent. She wore a simple white dress, the traditional clothing of human diplomats. Behind her walked her team of 12 advisors. The chamber was filled with aliens. Thousands of them sat in the viewing galleries above. They pointed at the humans and whispered to each other. Some laughed. Some looked curious. Most looked angry. News of the border battle had spread fast. Every species in the galaxy knew that a single human ship had destroyed 47 warships. This had never happened before. They were supposed to be unbeatable. The humans were supposed to be primitives. Ignored the whispers. She walked to the center of the chamber and stopped. In front of her sat the 12 members of the Council. They were the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy. They had ruled space for longer than humans had existed. The leader of the Council was High Elder, like those who had died at the border. His 6 eyes looked at with pure hatred. His scales were dark purple, a sign of great age and power. "You dare to come here," said. His voice echoed through the chamber. "You dare to stand before us after what your people did." Bowed politely. "High Elder, I come in peace. The battle at the border was regrettable. Your ships attacked first. We defended ourselves, but we do not want war, we want friendship." Slammed his fist on his desk. "Friendship? You killed 3,000 warriors. You destroyed ships that took decades to build, and you want friendship." "Yes," said simply. "We want to join the galactic community. We want to trade with other species. We want to share knowledge and culture. We want to explore the stars together." Another council member spoke. This was Elder, were small creatures with 8 legs and 3 heads. They were known for being clever and cruel. "The human speaks of peace," said, "but our people carry weapons of war. Why should we trust them?" Nodded. "You are right to ask this question. We carry weapons because we have learned from our history. Our world has seen many wars. We have learned that peace must be protected. We do not want to use our weapons, but we will use them if we must." The crowd in the galleries shouted angry words. They did not like this answer. They thought the humans were threatening them. But stood calm. She waited for the noise to stop. "Let me tell you about humanity," she said. "We are a young species. We have only traveled among the stars for 200 years, but in that time we have done much. We have cured diseases that killed millions. We have built ships that can cross the galaxy. We have created art and music and stories that touch the heart. We are not perfect. We have made many mistakes, but we always try to be better." Elder laughed. It was the same ugly laugh that the border commander had made. "Pretty words," he said, "but words mean nothing. The Council has ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years. We have seen species like yours before. You are aggressive. You are violent. You are dangerous. The galaxy does not need you." Felt sadness in her heart. She had hoped things would be different. She had hoped the Council would be wise. "What will you do?" she asked quietly. Smiled. It was not a kind smile. "The Council will vote," he said. "We will decide the fate of your species." The vote was quick. Each of the 12 council members pressed a button. 11 of them voted the same way. Only one, a silent creature called Elder, voted differently, but one vote was not enough. "The Council has decided," announced. "Humanity is a threat to galactic peace. Your ships will be destroyed. Your world will be occupied. Your people will be scattered among the stars, never to unite again." The crowd cheered. They thought this was justice. Did not move. Her face showed no fear. "And what about us?" she asked, looking at her team. "What about the human delegation?" Stood up. His purple scales seemed to glow with pleasure. "You came here as enemies pretending to be friends. The punishment for this is death. You and your team will be executed at sunrise. Your bodies will be sent back to Earth as a warning." The guards moved forward. They grabbed and her advisors roughly. The humans did not fight back. They let themselves be taken. But as the guards dragged her away, did something strange. She smiled. It was a small smile, just like Commander's smile before the battle. The kind of smile that meant something bad was about to happen, something very bad. Raised her hand to her ear. She touched the small device hidden there. It looked like a simple earring, but it was a communicator. "They chose fire," she whispered in Korean. The guards did not understand the words. They did not know what they meant. They took and her team to the prison beneath the council chamber. But far away in space beyond the council's sight, Commander received the message. He closed his eyes for a moment. He had hoped for a different outcome. He had prayed that the council would choose peace. But they had chosen war. Opened his eyes and looked at his crew. They were waiting for his orders. They knew what was coming. "Send the signal to Earth," said. His voice was heavy with sadness. "Tell them the council has condemned our people to death. Tell them we did everything we could." "And then, sir?" Lieutenant asked. Looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, Ambassador and her team were in a prison cell, waiting to die. Brave men and women who had come in peace, who had offered friendship. "And then," said slowly, "we show the galaxy what happens when you hurt our people." He stood up from his chair. "All ships prepare for battle. This is not a drill. We are going to war." Across the galaxy, in secret locations hidden from council eyes, human ships began to move. Hundreds of them. Then thousands. Ships that had been built in secret. Ships that the council did not know existed. The council thought they were dealing with one ship and a small delegation. They thought humans were weak and few. They were wrong. Humanity was coming, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The first colony to fall was called Prime. It was a world, home to 50 million aliens. It had beautiful cities made of crystal and stone. It had gardens that floated in the sky. It had been peaceful for 3,000 years. Captain arrived at sunrise. His ship, the HSS Thunder, dropped out of hyperspace without warning. Behind him came 49 more human vessels. They appeared like ghosts, silent and deadly. Was a young captain, only 32 years old. He had short hair and a scar on his left cheek from a training accident. His eyes were hard. He had seen the video of Ambassador being dragged to prison. He had watched the council celebrate the death sentence given to innocent humans. "Sir, the colony is sending a distress signal," reported Ensign. She was even younger than just 24, but she was one of the best pilots in the fleet. "Let them send it," said. "I want the galaxy to see what happens next." The defense fleet rushed to meet the human ships. They had 80 vessels, twice as many as the humans. The commander was confident. He had heard the stories about the border battle, but he did not believe them. Those were just rumors, propaganda. He was wrong. The battle lasted 6 minutes. Did not give long speeches. He did not make threats. He simply gave one order: destroy their military, protect the civilians. The human ships moved like dancers. They twisted and turned between enemy fire. Their weapons hit with perfect accuracy. One by one, the warships exploded. When it was over, the human fleet had not lost a single ship. Looked at the planet below. He could destroy it easily. His weapons could turn the crystal cities to dust. He could kill 50 million in 1 hour. But he did not. "Send a message to the colony," he ordered. "Tell them we are not here to kill civilians. Tell them to surrender their military bases, and we will leave them in peace." They were confused. They had expected death. Their leaders had told them humans were monsters, animals, but now the monsters were offering mercy. The colony surrendered. Human soldiers landed on the planet. They were disciplined and professional. They took control of the military bases. They arrested the officers, but they did not harm the civilians. They did not take their homes. They did not steal their food. Lieutenant led one of the ground teams. He was a tall soldier with kind eyes. His team walked through a city, and the aliens watched from their windows with fear. A small child ran into the street. It was scared and crying. It had become separated from its family. The soldiers stopped, knelt down slowly. He took out a small piece of candy from his pocket. He offered it to the child. The child looked at him with its 6 tiny eyes. It did not understand. Why was the enemy being kind? A woman ran out of a building. She grabbed the child and held it close. She looked at with terror. "Please," she begged, "please do not hurt my child." Stood up, he shook his head. "We do not hurt children," he said. His translator device changed his words to the language. "We do not hurt anyone who does not fight us. Go home. Stay safe. This war is not with you." The woman stared at him. Then she ran away, holding her child tightly. Watched her go, he felt sad. He did not want this war. None of the humans wanted this war. They had tried to make peace. They had offered friendship, but the council had chosen death. Now the council would learn what that choice meant. Over the next 3 weeks, human ships appeared at colony after colony. The pattern was always the same. They destroyed military targets. They arrested enemy officers, but they protected civilians. They gave food to the hungry. They treated the sick. The council did not understand. "Why do they not slaughter everyone?" Elder demanded at an emergency meeting. "Why do they show mercy? This is not how war works." Elder the answered, "Perhaps they are weak. Perhaps they do not have the stomach for real violence." But even as he spoke, reports came in. 10 colonies had fallen, then 20, then 50. The human fleet was unstoppable. Nothing could slow them down. And then the executions happened. Ambassador and her team were brought to the central plaza of the council capital. Millions of aliens gathered to watch. The execution was broadcast across the galaxy. High Elder stood on a golden platform. He gave a long speech about justice and order. He talked about how humans were savages who needed to be punished. He talked about how the council was protecting the galaxy. Then the executioners stepped forward, looked at her team. They were afraid, but they stood tall. They would not give the council the pleasure of seeing them cry. "Remember," whispered to them, "we die as humans, we die with dignity." The executioners raised their weapons. Far away, on the bridge of the HSS Revenge, Commander watched the broadcast. His hands gripped his chair so tight that his knuckles turned white. "Sir," Lieutenant said, her voice breaking, "should I turn it off?" "No," said, "we watch, we remember, and we make them pay for every single one." The executioners fired, and her team fell. 12 brave humans who had come in peace were now dead, murdered for the crime of being different. The crowd cheered. High Elder smiled his ugly smile. The council thought they had won. They thought they had broken humanity's spirit. They were so very wrong. Captain received the news while standing on Prime. He watched the broadcast on a screen in the main plaza. Around him, civilians also watched. They expected the human captain to become violent. They expected him to take revenge on them. But did not move. He just stood there, tears running down his face. "Sir," Ensign asked quietly, "what do we do now?" Wiped his eyes. When he spoke, his voice was calm but cold. "We continue. We take every colony. We destroy every fleet. And when we reach the council capital, we make them answer for what they have done." He looked at the civilians watching him. "But we do not become like them. We do not kill innocents. We do not murder prisoners. We are human. We are better than them. That is why we will win." Across the galaxy, humans heard these words. Soldiers cried for their fallen friends, then picked up their weapons and continued fighting. Ship captains watched the execution video, then set course for the next target. The council had killed 12 humans. They thought this would scare the rest into running away. Instead, they had created something far more dangerous than fear. They had created purpose. And now, every human in the galaxy had one goal: reach the council capital and make them answer for the blood on their hands. The galaxy continued to burn, but now it burned with the fire of human rage. Admiral was 63 years old. She had gray hair tied in a simple bun. Her face had many wrinkles, but her eyes were sharp like knives. She had served in the human space force for 40 years. She had seen many battles. She had lost many friends. But nothing had prepared her for this moment. She stood on the bridge of the HSS Unbreakable, the largest ship humanity had ever built. It was 3 kilometers long. It carried enough weapons to destroy a planet, and it was heading straight for the Galactic Council's capital world. Behind her came the largest fleet in human history, 2,000 ships, all armed and ready for battle. Commander led one group. Captain led another. Hundreds of other captains, each with their own stories of loss and anger, followed Admiral into the heart of enemy space. The Council had tried to stop them. They had sent fleet after fleet. They had used every weapon they had. They had even tried to negotiate. It had not worked. Every fleet the Council sent was destroyed. Every weapon they used was useless against human technology. And when they tried to negotiate, humanity had only one demand: justice for the executed diplomats. The Council refused. Now there was nothing left between the human fleet and the Council capital. "Admiral," said Commander, her second in command. He was a serious man with glasses and a quiet voice. "We are approaching the final defense line." Looked at the screen. The Council had gathered everything they had left: 500 warships from a dozen different species. It was the largest defensive fleet ever assembled. "How many did we lose getting here?" asked. 47 ships, Admiral. 3,215 people. Closed her eyes. 3,000 more names to add to the list. 3,000 more families who would receive sad news. 3,000 more reasons to end this war. "Send a message to the enemy fleet," she ordered. "Tell them to surrender. Tell them we do not want more death. Tell them this can end peacefully." Nodded and sent the message. The reply came quickly. It was from High Elder himself. His face appeared on the screen, full of hatred and fear. "Human Admiral," he said, "you have won battles, but you cannot win this war. If you attack the capital, we will kill every human prisoner we hold. We will destroy your home world. We will hunt your people across the galaxy until none are left." Listened calmly. When finished, she spoke. "High Elder, you killed our ambassadors. You murdered people who came to you with open hands. You had a chance for peace, and you chose blood. Now you hide behind prisoners and threats like a coward, but I will tell you something." She leaned forward. "Humans do not give up. We do not surrender. We do not run away. You can kill prisoners. You can attack our world. But for every one of us you kill, 10 more will rise, 100 more, 1,000 more. You started this war, but we will finish it." She paused. "You have 1 hour to surrender. After that, we are coming, and nothing in this galaxy will stop us." She cut the communication. The Council fleet did not surrender. They were too proud, too stupid. The battle began. Human ships moved forward in perfect formation. Their weapons fired in waves, each shot hitting its target. The Council fleet fought back desperately. They used every trick they knew. They sent fighters and bombers. They launched missiles and energy beams. They even tried to ram human ships. But the humans had trained for 200 years. They had studied every species in the galaxy. They knew every tactic, every weakness, every fear, and they used all of it. The battle lasted 4 hours, 4 terrible hours of fire and death. When it was over, the Council fleet was destroyed. 300 human ships were lost, but the path to the capital was open. Admiral looked at the planet on her screen. It was a beautiful world, blue oceans, green forests, white clouds. Billions of aliens lived there, most of them innocent. They had not asked for this war. They had not voted to kill the human diplomats. "Admiral," Commander said, "we have weapons lock on all major military targets. We can begin the assault." Was silent for a long moment. "No," she said finally, "not yet. Send ground troops to secure the council chamber. Tell them I want the council members alive, all of them." Looked surprised. "Alive after everything they did?" "Alive," repeated. "They will face trial. They will answer for their crimes in front of the whole galaxy. We are not executioners. We are soldiers, and soldiers follow the law." The ground assault began. Lieutenant led his team through the streets of the capital city. Alien civilians ran and hid. They had heard stories about human brutality. They expected to die. But the human soldiers did not kill them. They did not burn their homes. They walked past, focused on their mission, reached the council chamber and captured the leaders. The council's personal guards fought hard. They were loyal and brave, but they were not enough. Human soldiers pushed forward, room by room, hallway by hallway. Finally, his team reached the council chamber. The great doors were locked, but human explosives opened them easily. Inside, the 12 council members waited. Most looked scared. Some looked angry. High Elder stood in the center, holding a weapon. "Stay back," he shouted. "I will not be captured like an animal." Held up his hand. His soldiers stopped. "High Elder," said calmly, "you are under arrest for crimes against humanity. Put down your weapon and come with us. No one needs to die today." Laughed wildly. "Crimes against humanity. You are not even real people. You are insects, primitives. The galaxy was better before your species learned to crawl out of the mud." He raised his weapon. He never got to fire it. A single shot from his rifle hit in the arm. The High Elder screamed and dropped his weapon. He fell to the ground, holding his wound. Walked forward slowly. He looked down at the alien who had ordered the deaths of so many good people. "You could have been our friend," said quietly. "You could have welcomed us. We would have shared everything with you, our technology, our medicine, our art. But you chose fear, you chose hate, and now you will face justice." He turned to his soldiers. "Take them all, treat their wounds. Make sure they live to see their trial." The soldiers moved forward. One by one, the council members were captured. The war was not over yet, but the end was near. Admiral received the news on her bridge. "The council has been captured," Commander reported. "All 12 members are alive." Closed her eyes, she thought about all the people who had died. Commander's crews, captain's soldiers, ambassador and her brave team. "Send a message to all human ships," she said. "Tell them the council has fallen. Tell them we have won." She opened her eyes. "And tell them this is not the end. This is the beginning of a new galaxy, a better galaxy, one where no species will ever be executed just for being different." Across the fleet, humans cheered. They cried, they hugged each other. The war was almost over. But Admiral did not celebrate. She knew that winning a war was easy compared to what came next. Building peace. The surrender ceremony took place on a small moon between the stars. It was neutral ground, chosen by both sides. The moon had no name, just a number. But after that day, everyone in the galaxy would remember it. General Minyu stood in the center of a large white room. He was an old soldier, 70 years old, with a body covered in scars from many wars. His hair was completely white. His hands shook slightly from age. But his mind was still sharp, and his heart was still strong. Around him stood representatives from every human fleet. Commander was there, looking tired but proud. Captain stood with his crew, their uniforms still marked with dust from battle. Admiral watched from the back, her gray eyes seeing everything. On the other side of the room stood the representatives of the Galactic Council species. They looked broken. Their proud uniforms were wrinkled. Their eyes were full of fear and shame. They had come to surrender, and everyone knew it. Elder, the only council member who had voted against executing the human diplomats, stepped forward. She was a small creature covered in soft white fur. Her species, were known for being gentle and wise. She had spoken against many times, but no one had listened. "General Minyu," she said in a soft voice, "on behalf of the council species, I come to discuss terms of surrender." Minyu looked at her for a long moment, then he nodded. "Elder, you are the only council member I respect. You tried to stop the execution. You spoke for peace when others called for blood. For that, I thank you." He turned to address everyone in the room. "Let me be clear about what humanity wants. We do not want to rule the galaxy. We do not want to enslave other species. We do not want revenge against innocent people." The alien representatives looked surprised. They had expected demands for territory. They had expected to become slaves. This was how wars had always ended in the galaxy. "What we want is simple," Minyu continued. "Justice. Those who ordered the execution of our diplomats will face trial. Those who committed crimes during the war will be punished according to their actions, and the system that allowed this to happen will be changed forever." He picked up a document from the table in front of him. "This is the Treaty of Unity. It will replace the old council system. Under this treaty, no species will have more power than another. No species will be able to vote to execute diplomats from another species. No species will be able to attack another without facing consequences." Elder took the document and read it carefully. Her small eyes widened. This is fair," she said with surprise. "This protects everyone equally, even species like ours who lost the war." "That is the point," Minyu said. "Humanity did not fight this war to become tyrants. We fought because innocent people were killed. We fought because the council refused to listen. But now the fighting is over. Now we must build something better." The alien representatives began to whisper among themselves. They had expected cruelty. They had expected punishment. Instead, they were being offered equality. One representative, A general named stepped forward. His 6 eyes were full of doubt. "How do we know this is not a trick?" he demanded. "How do we know you will not wait until we are weak and then destroy us?" Commander walked forward. He stopped directly in front of. "Because we are human," said simply. "We do not need tricks. If we wanted to destroy you, we would have done it already. Every colony we captured is still standing. Every civilian is still alive. We did not burn your worlds. We did not slaughter your people. We had the power to do it, but we chose not to. That is who we are." He reached out his hand. "The war is over. I killed many of your people. You would have killed many of mine if you could. But that is finished now. I am offering you my hand. Take it. Let us build a future together." Looked at the hand for a long moment. Every instinct told him to refuse. Had ruled for 10,000 years. They did not shake hands with enemies. But those 10,000 years were over. They had lost. And the human in front of him was offering something the council had never offered anyone. Respect. Slowly, carefully, reached out and took's hand. The room was silent. Then Elder began to clap. Other joined her. Soon, representatives from dozens of species were applauding. For the first time in galactic history, former enemies were choosing peace. General Minu watched with quiet satisfaction. Then he raised his hand for silence. "There is one more thing. The trial of High Elder and the other council members who voted for execution will begin tomorrow. They will face judges from every species, including humans. The trial will be broadcast across the galaxy so everyone can see justice being done." He looked at the alien representatives. "I want you to understand something. We are not seeking revenge. We are seeking justice. There is a difference. Revenge is emotional, justice is fair, and his supporters will have lawyers. They will have the chance to defend themselves. And whatever the verdict, it will be based on evidence and law, not anger." Captain spoke up. His voice was rough from exhaustion. "Some of my soldiers wanted revenge. They wanted to burn everything. They wanted to make the council species suffer like we suffered, but I told them no. And do you know why?" He looked around the room. "Because Ambassador would not have wanted that. She came here for peace. She died for peace. If we destroy everything, her death means nothing. But if we build something better, if we create a galaxy where no one is executed for being different, then she will be remembered as a hero. Her name will be spoken with respect for 1,000 years." Tears appeared in his eyes, but his voice remained strong. "That is why we fight, not for revenge, for a better future." The signing of the treaty took 3 hours. Every species had to agree to the terms. Every representative had to put their name on the document, but finally it was done. The old Galactic Council was officially dead. In its place, the United Galaxy Treaty Organization was born. Every species would have one vote. Every species would be protected equally. And any leader who tried to execute diplomats would face immediate justice. General Minu was the last to sign. He wrote his name in large, clear letters. Then he looked up at the room full of aliens and humans. "A long time ago," he said, "humans lived only on one small planet called Earth. We fought each other for thousands of years. We almost destroyed ourselves many times, but we learned. We grew. We became better." He set down the pen. "Now we are part of something bigger. We are members of a galactic community. And we promise this. Humanity will never forget the lessons of our past. We will always choose peace when possible. We will always fight for justice when necessary. And we will always remember that every being in this galaxy, no matter how different, deserves respect." He smiled for the first time that day. "Welcome to the new galaxy. Let us make it worthy of all the people who died to create it." The ceremony ended. Representatives began to leave, already talking about the future. There was much work to do, planets to rebuild, wounds to heal, trust to earn. Commander found Admiral standing by a window, looking out at the stars. "Admiral," he said, Do you think this peace will last? Thought about it for a moment. I do not know, she admitted. The galaxy is a big place. There will always be those who want power. There will always be those who choose hate over love. But I believe humanity has shown something important today. What is that? That it is possible to win a war without losing your soul. That you can be powerful without being cruel. That you can defeat your enemies and still offer them your hand afterward. She turned to face him. The galaxy burned because of fear and hatred, but from those ashes, something new is growing, something better. And as long as humans remember who we are, as long as we remember why we came to the stars in the first place, that new thing will survive. Nodded, he looked out at the stars, thinking about everything that had happened. Ambassador would be proud, he said quietly. Put her hand on his shoulder. Yes, she would. And somewhere among those countless stars, on a small planet called Earth, children were looking up at the night sky. They did not know about the war that had just ended. They did not know about the sacrifices that had been made. But one day they would learn. They would learn about Commander and his bravery, about Ambassador and her sacrifice, about Captain and his mercy, about Admiral and her wisdom, about General Minu and his justice. They would learn that humans came to the galaxy in peace, that they were rejected and attacked, that they fought back with strength and honor, and that in the end they did not become the monsters others feared. They became the heroes the galaxy needed. The stars continued to watch as they always had, but now they watched with something new, not fear, not curiosity. Hope. Because humanity had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again.